So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Kanuki back here, BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Friday, May 7th. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday. It is, in fact, Friday, May 7th here today. We are now 1 week into the month of May, which is good. Obviously, each day... as each day goes by, we get closer and closer to, the Jets training camp starting. And then, obviously, each day we got a new Yankees game coming up. So, a lot of really good sports coming up here in the next coming months. Obviously, dog days of summer are coming up with baseball. When you get to, late May and into June. And then really June, July is when you get to the, as they call it, the dog days of summer, where it's just games and games and games. And they're grinding out, and so that's when the true grind comes on, when you get to about the 90 to 100 game mark in the MLB. So obviously that's super exciting. And also just the fact that summer's right around the corner is also another exciting thing. It brings a lot of excitement, with baseball, and obviously, then, training camp will start up, in July in the NFL, which is obviously, everyone's, should be excited about that if you're an NFL fan, and a lot of really good sports coming up in these next coming months here. So it is in fact May 7th today. So a lot to get to today. To kind of recap yesterday, Yankees took a tough loss yesterday against the Houston Astros, or the Cheaters, whatever you want to call them. We were winning. It was just such a frustrating way to lose. It was like 3-2. We were winning 3-2, and then they, I think Altuve hit a 3-run home run, I think, or a 2-run home run. It was like 5-3 or something. Then Gleyber Torres had that big base running play, and then Justin Wilson, or it was Altuve who hit it after that, whatever it was. And then Justin Wilson blew it. Chad Green blew it. Justin Wilson didn't help the case. So, it was tough. It's a tough loss. And, yes, we won the series. Yes, we won 2 out of 3. But the Astros got the final last laugh. And that's frustrating because, you hope that you go in there. The game was going well. Cole had another very good outing. You go in there and you're thinking, wow, we might sweep them. And then you're like, oh, yes, they came into the stadium. There was all the chants, all the signs, all the hype. We got in. We got the job done. But that wasn't the case. Yes, we won the World Series. Or not the World Series. Yes, we won the series. I'm thinking ahead here. But yes, we did win the series 2-1. But they got the last laugh. And that's what's frustrating. Because now they're going to go back to wherever they're going, whether that's a home game or a road game, and they're going to be on a win. They're going to have a win under their belt, and that's not what you wanted. But, we still took 2 out of 3. I can't complain. We've still won, 5 of our last 6, or even more than that. And then we open up a series today against the Nationals before heading on to a really long road trip. I was looking the other day at the road trip we're coming up. I think it's like 9 games or something. It's a long road trip. The early one earlier in the year was I think 8 games. This one I think is 3 game sets. So 3 game sets, I think. I'm not sure. I'd have to look again. But another long road trip coming up for the Yankees. So obviously with the 9-game homestand, today will be game 6, will be the game 7, 8, and 9. We'll head into the weekend. I guess you can kind of call this a weekend series. You got today and then 2 day games on Saturday and Sunday. So that should be good. So with all that being said, this is, this is the topics for the day. Obviously, the Yankees got a loss yesterday. Nets took a loss. Rangers took a loss. I took a big 0-for-3 yesterday. All of my teams lost. The Yankees lost, Nets lost, and Rangers lost. So all 3 losses. Wasn't the greatest day ever for success in sports for my teams. But hoping that, they can bounce back. Rangers' final game of the season is tomorrow. And a lot of stuff going around the Rangers still. What we're going to do with our head coach, and I'm going to get to that today. So with all that being said, these are the topics for today's podcast. Jets minicamp starts. So, yes, you heard that correctly. The New York Jets have officially started rookie minicamp. So rookie minicamp is pretty much all the rookies, all of them, all the rookies that have been, the undrafted rookies, the drafted rookies, all the rookies are going to be out there today on the field and going to be practicing and doing stuff like that. So rookie mini camp is just kind of it's kind of just a learning thing. It's not, not where, the coaches kind of get a feel for the players, but it's May 7th through May 10th. It's not like it's this big month-long thing like training camp. It's just a couple-day thing, and obviously you get into the true OTAs, and you head to the facility pretty much every day, and you do your working out, and your lifting, and your film sessions, and all that stuff. But in this case here with the rookie minicamp, they're actually out there on the field. So today, New York Jets are at their training facility. Zach Wilson is at the facility, and they are currently right now, they're going to practice today. So the rookie mini camps will practice today. I believe the skill position players will start at 12:30. I think the linemen are in the morning, and I think the skill position players like Zach Wilson and the receivers and stuff like that will be at like 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. So about noon Eastern will be the skill position players and all that stuff. So I kind of want to talk about it. I wanted to talk about all the Jets undrafted free agent rookies that we signed. Just the rookies, what to look for and kind of just, them. This is their opportunity to really, get into the NFL, really experience what the NFL is like for the first time because it's a big jump. So we'll get into that. Then we'll finish off the podcast or get into the next topic, which is the final big topic, will be the Rangers. I know Albert Pujols got released yesterday. But I was gonna talk about it, and it's big news that he got released, obviously. But I for the past couple days here, I've been wanting to talk about the Jets mini camp. I kind of had that circled. Obviously, I think of topics, before sometimes even that day. Like for example, yesterday I knew I wanted to talk about the Jets mini camp because I knew it was starting on Friday. I knew I wanted to touch on that. So the Rangers front office, I did not expect them to fire their GM and team president. But today there's still been a lot of stuff going on what's going to happen with David Quinn, who's our coach right now. And that's been one of the big questions going around the organization. Is Chris Drury and Sather, are they going to fire him and bring in a new guy? Are they just going to reset the coaching staff? Or what are they? Or Drury and Coach Quinn are actually very close. So are they going to try to build this thing together? What are they going to do? I'm going to give you what I think would be best for the team. And I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. Now, I'm not in one of these situations where I hate David Quinn. At the beginning of the year, I did think about him being fired, but it's one of these situations where I'm like 50-50. If you keep him, I could see why you keep him. If you fire him, I could also very well see why you fire him. So we'll get into that. Then we'll finish off with the New York sports update. Obviously, the Yankees play today, start up a fresh series. And I think of it that way, right? You did well against the Astros, but, just that series is behind you. Obviously, that series had a lot of hype going into it. I had a lot of hype going, during it with the 3 games and, a lot of media around it. You won 2 of the 3, and that series behind you. Now we got to focus on our next opponent. That's the Washington Nationals today. So, and I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, who should be? I think Kluber's on the mound today, right? Would Kluber be on the mound? No. Yeah, would Kluber be on the mound? I think Kluber might be on the mound today, right? Because wasn't it Cole, Kluber, Tyone, and then it was Herman, Monty, and then yesterday was Cole again. So Kluber, I believe, should be on the mound today if the rotation's going right. Then it should be Tyone, and then Herman should be set up for the National Series to pitch. So that's that. Rangers day off. Nets also need a much-needed day off today as they head to Denver to play against the Nuggets tomorrow night. So they have a day off today. Much needed day off today. Currently, we're in the middle of our longest losing streak of the season, which is 4 games. As crazy as it may sound, yes, our longest losing streak is 4 games. Some teams they get on these long 7-8 game losing streaks. The Nets are only 4 games. So I don't want to complain too much because I'm like, oh, we're on a 4-game losing streak when some people's teams have already been on 10, 11 game losing streaks. But still, we're definitely hitting a skid. So a much needed day off today, a travel day. Get to Denver, get settled there. Focus up for tomorrow's game because these games are turning big. You don't want to slide all the way going to the playoffs. And I've always been like that. Some people say, oh, well, you'd rather them be hot for the playoffs. No, I don't want to go into the playoffs with absolutely no momentum. I don't want to go into the playoffs losing 7 of our last 8. I don't. I would rather go into the playoffs winning 2 of our last 3, winning 4 of our last 5, whatever the case may be. I don't want to go into the playoffs losing 7 of our last 8 games. So we got to figure it out. We got to turn around quickly and try to get a win. So with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get into it. So Jets minicamp has officially started today. So kind of to give you a little bit of overview on how minicamp works in the NFL. So I believe today 3 teams have started their rookie minicamp. I think it was the Colts, the Jets, and I'm not 100% sure if it's the Patriots, but it might have been them. And then the rest of the league starts up on the 10th of May, and they will go to the 13th. Now, how this works is, I don't know why the Jets are starting earlier than the other teams. It could just be the organization. They just decided to put it on this day. It could be, all their draft picks and all that stuff. It could just be, it could be multiple different things. But the Jets do start today. So, and that excites me. Obviously, I'm excited. Obviously, baseball season's upon us, and the NBA playoffs is right around the corner. But, especially in the situation the Jets are in, obviously, I'm excited to see rookie minicamp starting because, I think it's obviously a great thing. I think it's a great opportunity to see what these guys can do, right? And that's one of the things I wanted to say, too, is, don't judge what you see in these 3 days. Don't judge that off of everything. This is as small as a sample size can get. This is a 3-day thing. Today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe Monday as well, so a 4-day, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th. So, I guess today, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it's such a small sample size. It's a very small sample size. You're getting 3 days out of these guys. You're going to get the opportunity to see these guys play for 4 days, about 4 days, right? Friday going into Monday, and then you go back to your normal OTA stuff. But what's so exciting about rookie minicamp is the fact that, you get to see the rookies. You get to see the new players. And obviously with the Jets and many other teams out there, that's the big story of the season. The Jets have got a new franchise quarterback in Zach Wilson. We all want to see what he's all about, right? The Jacksonville Jaguars got a new star quarterback, face of the franchise in Trevor Lawrence, right? All these other teams have gotten some quarterbacks, gotten some players, the multiple other teams. The Giants got a new receiver. Everyone wants to see what he's made out of. So it's an opportunity to see, first off, what these guys look like, how they're running the plays, kind of just stuff like that. So the way they run the rookie mini camps is they start off, obviously, it will be about 30 rookies will be present for the Jets camp today. So about 30 rookies, 10 draft picks, and then the other ones are kind of the undrafted free agents and some of these other guys, just the walk-ons, and kind of the other just random signings here and there. They will all be present there today. Obviously, you got to have with the COVID-19 protocols, they're splitting up into groups. So offensive linemen will be in the early stages, in the early stage of the day, and then the skill position players like the receivers and the running backs, and obviously Wilson will be later on, actually at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Wilson will be able to have a 7-on-7 against the air. So it's going to be a 7-on-7. And this is how rookie camp is. It's so tiny. It's about 30 players compared to the normal, 90 you have on a training camp roster day one. So it's a lot more players. It's a lot less players. It's a very quiet environment. It's just you and the coaches. So Wilson's pretty much going to be taking snaps and throwing to receivers. So it's going to be 7 guys, maybe a center and your running back and another offense lineman, and then your receivers there, and he'll be throwing to those guys. And you could tell a lot. You could see that a little bit. Obviously, it's against no defense. So you could look like a stud out there catching these balls when you're going up against no one. Yeah, because it's no defense. So that will that. And then you have, along with position, individual drills. So each position will have their own individual drill. So, a quarterback drill, they'll be set up, a receiver drill. It's a pretty much whole day thing. And they'll do this for today. They'll do it tomorrow. They'll do it Sunday. They'll do it Monday. And then kind of to go from there, it's a lot of, more OTAs, the gyms, and then you wait until really July to see the field, to see the practice field again, and really get the opportunity to, go out there and really practice fully with the team. So, rookie minicamp has been around for a good amount of time. It's an opportunity, and this is what I want to make clear. I mean, I don't know how much you're going to be able to get, because it's not like I'm getting any secret live stream. I would love to get clips from it. I don't know how much clips you're going to be able to get, and I'm excited for to see what. Like I said, you're not going to be able to tell everything out of these players. Just because a player catches a ball on a one-on-one drill doesn't mean he's going to be a stud in the NFL. Just because this guy made a good block on this one-on-one individual drill doesn't mean anything, right? You also got to see him in real game scenarios. But what I really look at the rookie minicamp at is an opportunity for these guys, and from a fan perspective like me, and I hope I get some clips. I hope I do get some videos that I get to watch. You can find them off the Jets social media page, all over YouTube and stuff like that. I do hope I get that, because first of all, I just want to see, what it looks like, what these guys are doing and stuff like that. That's what I want to see. But it's an opportunity for these players to get a feel for the NFL. Because I've always talked about this whenever I do my podcast. It's an opportunity, for these players to get a feel. And whenever I talk about this stuff on the podcast, we all know that the biggest jump in any sport is from college to the pros. Whether that's in actually Major League Baseball and MLB, it's usually college to the minor leagues to the pros. The biggest jump, they say, it's not from single A to double A. It's not double A to triple A. It's triple A to the MLB. Because the game is just so much different when you get up there. Same thing with the NBA. It's not high school to college. It's not college to the G League. It's college to the NBA is the biggest jump. In the NFL, same thing. It's not high school. It's not college to, it's not any of that other stuff. It's college to the NFL. NHL, same thing. It's not college to, junior team to, the minor league Wolf, like a minor league team to the NHL. It's from the minor league team right to the pros. That's the biggest jump. That's in every sport. So we'll get an opportunity to see these guys. It's not a true NFL atmosphere, but they're going to be learning the playbook today. And they're going to be, there's going to be situations where they're going to have to do things, right? Like Wilson. He's already been learning some of the playbook. He's got to go through so many plays throughout the offseason and learn them. And that's what every quarterback's got to do. I mean, you don't realize quarterbacks might study more now when they're in the NFL than they actually did when they actually, were learning back, whenever college or, throughout their school years, right? They probably needed to study more now. And that's the same situation here. These guys today are going to get to learn the playbook. Yes, this 7-on-7 drill might be against no one. But these guys are going to have to learn the routes they're supposed to run. Wilson's going to have to, learn the plays. They might run, a couple different scenarios. A third down or a read option and many different plays. They're going to have to learn that. And over the next 4 days, they call it, is kind of the learning period. It's the basic introduction to the NFL is the best way many of us could put it. They're learning the playbook. They're going to run the routes. They're going to kind of just get a feel for what the NFL is like. Because college to the pros is very hard. It's a very big switch. And you're going to have to learn. And, this is, yes, it's not going to be, a full-on situation with refs and, flags and the play clock. No, it's not going to be. But it's going to be a lot of just, situational stuff. Wilson's going to throw. He's going to, you're going to want to impress these coaches. You're not going to want to go in there and lollygag. This is also a tryout for some of these players a little bit too. Some of these walk-ons and some of these guys that were undrafted free agents, they're going to want to make their mark today. When learning the playbook, when they get the ball thrown and when do they get their opportunity to impress their coaches, they're going to want to do that, and they're going to want to do it throughout the next 4 days here into Monday. So that's how I see it. And I'm excited. Because first off, I haven't seen Zach Wilson in a Jet uniform yet. Now, he won't be in the entire Jets uniform. It's probably going to be a practice uniform, if anything, because they're not even doing any contact stuff. So I don't even know if he'll have pads on. But just the opportunity to see him with the New York Jets, with a Jet helmet on and throwing footballs to his fellow receivers is just going to be so much fun. And like I said, I hope I get to see some of that stuff. I don't know how much they're allowed to show it because a lot of it's just reviewing plays, and you don't want to run a play, have it go over public, and have another team pick it up because that has happened before. And it's the truth. That's why a lot of times, if you go to these places, or that's why a lot of times these film crews, they're limited to only so much. Because they can't film a player, they can't film a team doing a formation that another team could pick up, and all of a sudden it spreads, and all of a sudden a play that you're running, everyone knows what you're doing. You can't do that. So, obviously, it's an opportunity for them to learn playbook. And that's really how I see it. You got to learn the playbook, right? That's the biggest thing. That might be one of the hardest things to do when you get to the NFL. It's not only the game and, the speed of the game and as a quarterback throwing the ball and getting it to your receiver and all that stuff and winning games. It's very difficult to learn a playbook. And that's why the Jets have brought Wilson into such a good situation where most of the plays he ran in BYU are literally what the Jets are going to be doing today. Now, Matt LaFleur is going to put his, Mike LaFleur, he's going to put his little, I said Matt LaFleur actually. Mike LaFleur, the LaFleur, he's going to put his little spin on the plays. It's not going to be the exact same. He might put his little spin on the play. Instead of this guy running this route, I want you to run this route. It might be that little of a switch. But you got to learn that. You also got to learn the audibles. You also got to learn the change of the line of scrimmage. And another thing, too, is Wilson and his receivers, they got to get on the same page. It's a lot of timing. Elijah Moore and Wilson, two of the draft guys, they're going to have to get on the same page. Corey Davis and Wilson. Now, Corey Davis isn't going to be there because he's not a rookie, but a lot of these guys, they're going to have to get on the same page because they're going to have to be on the same page because when it comes training camp and obviously opening game in week 1, they got to be ready. So I look at this as, the basic, it's look at kind of an intro to the NFL, gives the guy gives the guys the opportunity to go out there, put on the helmet for the first time, throw the football, meet up with some of the other teammates because a lot of these guys, they might have only met with some of these other teammates, with some of the other rookies, only over Zoom or only over video call, obviously with the whole COVID situation. So an opportunity to really meet your teammates and also kind of a feel-out process, get familiar with the building, get familiar with, just the whole NFL atmosphere because it's way different than college. And we'll get an opportunity to see what these guys can do over the next 4 days, learning the playbook, building chemistry with some of, your fellow teammates and your fellow, like Wilson with his receivers and, obviously with the new running back Michael Carter in the backfield. And when training camp comes, you'll be able to build chemistry as an entire team. And that's obviously when it really gets fun because when you really start to put together the plays you were running and you really start to put everything together and ultimately get ready for week 1 of the NFL season. So I look at this as, right, you have the offseason, you have the free agency period, then you obviously have the NFL draft, and now you have, the OTAs, and you have the rookie mini camps, and then I find that next up is training camp. And then after that, it's, after that, it's practice week, and then after that, it's opening, so after that's week 1. So we're getting closer and closer and closer to that, which is obviously exciting. So I'm going to read this quick thing. I already pretty much read it a little bit, but this is the basic stuff that's going to go on today. Then I'm going to go into kind of the Jets, unsigned free agents or undrafted free agent signings. And then they've already signed some players as well, which I'll get into a little bit there. So quarterback Zach Wilson will make his on-field debut today at the start of a 3-day rookie minicamp. About 30 rookies will be present, including the 10 draft picks. Because of COVID-19 protocols, the team will split linemen in the morning, skill players at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and Wilson will have a 7-on-7 against air, along with positional and individual drills. There won't be the traditional 11-on-11 periods. This is the basic introduction to the NFL. And I mentioned that before, and I actually took it from this text when I said it because I was able to look down. Or took it from this article, right? It's the basic introduction to the NFL. It's learning the playbook, getting familiar with the system, getting familiar with some of your teammates, just being in the building, being in an NFL atmosphere. It's just the basic stuff, right? And that's why they do a good job of this. And, you got to take this stuff seriously too. Because, first of all, the coaches are going to be looking. And if you go out there and you're lollygagging, they're going to be concerned. You're going to have to go out there and give it your effort. You can't just go out there and lollygag and be like, oh, yeah, that's the play we're running. All right, call hike and let's go. Or on defense, it's, oh, yeah, all right, let me just, or, oh, I'm supposed to, block this or something. Offense lines be like, oh, yeah, that's my man, and let him blow past you. Whatever the case may be. Right now, it's, you got to be, they take this seriously, right? It's an opportunity to really get, in the NFL. And a lot of these guys are, hungry for the knowledge. And everyone always talks about that too. Everyone always talks about, well, oh, you got to learn the system, Yeah, and that's the first start of it. And arguably, for rookie players, this might be the most important thing. It's not just the system, or it's not just the learning of the learning of the game and getting it at a higher level. It's learning the playbook, and that's why everyone always talks about how good it is to have a consistent coach at the playbook. Because when you switch playbooks and you switch a new offense, guess what the issue is? When you switch to get to a new offense, well, the issue is when you switch to a new offense, you got to learn all that over again. You got to learn it all over again, and they got to learn this. And today is kind of the first start to learning that and getting into the NFL groove, I would say. So, all right. So, let's see here. All right. So far, the New York Jets have signed a good amount of players. So let me first say this. The Jets today released these following players. So we released cornerback Kyron Brown, tight end Tanner Davis, offensive lineman Leo Colomananchi, kicker Chase McLaughlin, wide receiver Jaleel Scott, and wide receiver Josh Doxson. Additionally, we've placed safety Saquon Hampton on reserve, physically unable to play list. He obviously injured his ankle late last season, still not ready. Now, these are the Jets players that have officially signed with the team. Jamian Sherwood, who is the linebacker out of Alabama we drafted. Jason Pinnock, who is the cornerback out of Pittsburgh. Brandon Eccles, who is the cornerback out of Kentucky. Jonathan Marshall, who is the the defensive tackle out of Arkansas. And Michael Carter II, who is the cornerback out of Duke. Not Michael Carter II. And just now, we signed Hamza Nasruddin, linebacker out of Florida State. That's a difficult name. I'll just call him Hamza because I do know that name. But that's it. So that's the New York Jets. They have signed. So they have signed 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 10. So there's only 4 remaining. Now, Wilson has not officially signed. I'm sure he will sign very soon. It actually tends to happen this way where the earlier picks tend to sign a little later. Like if you haven't seen Elijah Moore, Elijah Vera Tucker sign a little bit because they usually tend to negotiate a little bit more. They also tend to get a little bit more money. So they tend to sign a little later because they have a lot more of a signing bonus and they can negotiate their type of signing bonus they get. So they usually tend to sign a little later. That's how it always is, not with the Jets. That's how it is throughout the NFL. That's how it is really throughout sports. You notice the earlier picks in the draft sign a little later. Like Lawrence, I don't even know if he's officially signed yet. He's on the team, but he hasn't officially put pen to the paper to sign. So, all right. So, yeah. So, I already saw a clip here of Zach Wilson here. So, Zach Wilson today is wearing number 2. But not his official number, and Elijah Moore is wearing number 8. Michael Carter is wearing number 32. Now, that doesn't really, I'm sure some people don't really care on what the numbers are, but those are the numbers. So, all right, so let me tell you the undrafted free agent rookies that the Jets signed. One of them particularly stands out to me that I'm actually excited for, and the other 11, not that I'm not excited for, but, they're kind of, I've heard of, out of all the guys that we got the unsigned to free agents, I heard of 1, 2, 3 of them. So I've heard of 3 of the 12, which isn't ideal, but, they're not that big players. So, all right, so these are the undrafted free agents the Jets have done. All right, so we've signed Isaiah Dunn, defensive back out of Oregon State. Michael Dwumfor, a defensive lineman out of Rutgers. Camilo Eifler, linebacker out of Illinois. Patrick Ferguson, offensive lineman out of Air Force. Then you got Grant Hermans, offensive line out of Purdue. Tristan Hogue, offensive lineman out of BYU. Chris Nagar, kicker out of SMU. And Jordan Peters, defensive back out of Auburn. Then Hamilcar Rashad Jr., defensive lineman out of Oregon State. Teton Saltz, offensive lineman, New Mexico. Brendan White, linebacker out of Rutgers. And Kenny Yeboah, tight end out of Ole Miss. Now, 3 of the guys I know I've heard of. Now, the other, obviously, 12 I've heard of now, and I've seen them before. Obviously, they're on the team now. But it's Michael Dwumfor, Brendan White, and Kenny Yeboah were the 3 guys I heard of right when we signed him. Now, the reason I know Michael Dwumfor and Brendan White were because they played at Rutgers, and obviously Rutgers, Big Ten, bigger name school, and also I watched a lot of Rutgers games this season with them being competitive. So those are the 3 guys I've heard of. Kenny Yeboah I heard of because I was actually thinking that he was going to get drafted, especially late in the rounds. And Mel Kiper, I remember saying, was interested on why he didn't get drafted yet. And I'm actually, out of all the guys in this list, if I had to pick one, now, history tells us that undrafted free agents usually don't, now, I believe there are more undrafted free agents that have reached the Hall of Fame than, I think normal, first-round pick or something. But that's besides the point. And like I said, I'm not doubting undrafted free agents because sometimes they have less pressure. They barely have any pressure on them. It's an opportunity for them to just go out there and just play the sport. These other guys have a lot more pressure on them. But Kenny Yeboah, I thought this was interesting because the Jets right now, their tight end situation's kind of up in the air. We have Chris Herndon. We have Ryan Griffin. We have, obviously now, we have Tyler Eifert, a veteran who we added in the offseason. Now we have Kenny Yeboah. So we've got 4 tight ends who I think are capable of making, decent impacts. And I do think at the end of all this, in week 1, I do think Chris Herndon will be out there playing for the New York Jets. Last season, he had a terrible year. He had a terrible year for us. The year before that, not the most recent year, but the year before that, Darnold's rookie year, he was amazing. He was great. I mean, he had an unbelievable year. He was arguably the Jets' best receiver. He was fitting so well in the scheme, and he was doing so well. He was a big part of, Darnold's, slight success he had that season. He didn't have much, but he was a big part of the Darnold's touchdowns. I mean, he helped Darnold get a lot of touchdowns. He threw it to him a lot. And last year, the production fell off. Ryan Griffin now, 2 years ago, he had a very good year. We ended up signing to an extension, and last season he did nothing. Tyler Eifert, same thing. Went to the Bills. I don't think last year he did much, and now he's sitting here on the Jets. And the Jets now have Kenny Yeboah. And what I like about this is Kenny Yeboah is teammates with Elijah Moore. And there's something that just, I feel like in a way, it's like with Kenny Yeboah, it's kind of like, he played at Ole Miss. He was under the system with, Elijah Moore. And you kind of feel like they might learn together and they might grow together. And they kind of might be in that same boat where, hey, we both went under the same offense in Ole Miss. Now we're coming to the Jets. We're both teammates. We've already got chemistry with each other. We've already, built some, we've already built a friendship and stuff like that. I feel like in a way it might be one of those situations where, they go all the way back to college, and I feel like if they continue to grow to each other and continue to learn the system together, taking their prior knowledge from Ole Miss and bringing it here, I feel like in a way it's kind of like great minds think alike. It's like if Elijah Moore finds success, I feel like in a way Kenny Yeboah could also kind of find success. And the Yankees actually gave Yeboah a pretty good amount of money. So it's kind of like, I think Yeboah is the best out of all of them. And I'm actually I'm actually excited to see what he does. I do think out of all these guys, Yeboah is going to get opportunities. He's going to go out there and he's going to try to make his impact definitely felt. And I do believe he will try his best to do that. And I believe coming from Ole Miss, now here, learning with Elijah Moore, I feel like it's just you kind of just think of it, it's like the right situation for him in a way. And I feel like he could fit right in. That's how I see it. Now, there are some people out there like, oh, Yeboah is going to be the greatest guy ever. No. Okay? I mean, no, we don't know if he is. Very, very well could, but we don't know. So, I'm just excited. I'm excited to, see what, I'm just excited to see what the New York Jets bring this season. And obviously, when you get into the offseason and then, all throughout, training camp and into practice, it's like the Jets are just a brand new team. It's like you went from being terrible to now all of a sudden, like, you got a bunch of guys that they're hungry, they're ready to play. You finally got your coach down. You got a right GM. Like, it's finally things are looking up for this organization. And that's just, it's so exciting. So, But with all that being said, that's what I got on the mini camp. Like I said, just a kind of small, little bit about it. What to expect today. Obviously exciting to see, just to see football again, and obviously just exciting to see football, and just exciting to, have the opportunity to, see what these guys are all about, and hope that, these guys, turn into what we hope them to be, and that's obviously the hope there. So, with all that being said, though, that will do it for this part of the topic, or this part of the podcast. Coming up next, the Rangers front office. There's a lot of questions to be asked about the Rangers right now. It's kind of like a state of the New York Rangers. Like, what is going on with the New York Rangers? I'm going to get into that coming up next. Alrighty. Sorry, I was just watching. There was a quick video of Wilson already up. Alrighty, so let's get into this here. We'll get into the Rangers. What has gone on with this team? They obviously took a tough loss yesterday. Now, I'm not going to really beat up on them too much to take a loss yesterday. There's a lot that has gone on with the team, and to be honest, I don't really think that at this point in the season we're kind of even. It's not like at this point in the season I don't even know if we're really in any type of situation to do something. I mean, this is just a team that has not been playing well. They're just not good. We're not playing well. I mean, we went from being competitive to not being competitive very quickly, and we've obviously got a lot of young guys, and that's part of it. So, obviously, the New York Rangers are officially eliminated from playoff contention. We all know that. This is how the playoffs look right now in the East Division currently. It's the Pittsburgh Penguins, Washington Capitals, Boston Bruins, and New York Islanders. And obviously, the Rangers stand there all alone in 5th place with 58 points, and they are eliminated from playoff contention. So, I'm going to start off with this. Last night's game, it was awful, it was terrible, it was embarrassing. What I saw was terribleness. Can you really blame them, though? There was a lot of guys out there last night that were young. They were playing some of their first games, like Gittins, I think his name was. Like that guy hasn't played one game this season. That could be his only game he played yesterday. He was out there on the ice. We're also without Trouba, without Lindgren, without Kreider, without Panarin. And there's no sense in bringing them back for one game. There's no sense. Like, Kreider's going to be back, for tomorrow's game. Like, who cares? The season's over. There's one game left. Just finish it off. And obviously, like I mentioned, this is a season that it ended badly. It was bad. It was bad. It's a team that went from, you sit here and you're looking at, an opportunity here to, try and really, come out, and play well. And obviously, we got off of the 4 wins against the Devils. We got right back into, position. We were on that, 4-game win streak, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, like, okay, now we play the Islanders. We took a terrible loss against the Islanders. We come back, play the Flyers, lose, beat the Flyers, and we win 2 against the Sabres, lose 2 against the Islanders. Then we lose against the Islanders again, lose twice against the Capitals, and lose again against the Bruins. Right now, we are on a 6-game losing streak to close out the year. And that's not going to help your chances of winning, nor help we're on a 5-game losing streak, actually. That's what it says here. We're 3-7 in our last 10. So, the issue with the New York Rangers, and there's a big question. What are the New York Rangers going to do this offseason? That's the big question. And with the firing of Jess Gordon and John Davidson, I don't think anyone really has an answer. Because I think we all knew what we were going to do going into this offseason. I think we all knew we were going to keep our young core, and I think we all knew we were going to continue to build for the future and not fire the head coach. Now, with Chris Drury taking over, not that he's going to fire David Quinn. He very well might, because him and David Quinn are close. He did give an answer yesterday that kind of hinted towards a possibility of making a coaching change. Someone asked him if Quinn's still going to be the coach of the New York Rangers, and he kind of gave a simple response of, "We'll make all those decisions next week." Now, if he was for sure that Quinn was going to be the head coach of the New York Rangers, he would have said, "Yes, David Quinn's going to continue as head coach." He's obviously not sure. He's obviously going to run over it. He's obviously going to decide depending on. I don't think tomorrow's game has much to do with it. If they lose tomorrow's game, I don't think he's going to lose his job. I think if he's going to lose his job, it's just going to be because they just want a fresh start. For those of you people out there that might be thinking, I want Quinn gone, let's lose tomorrow. I don't think tomorrow's going to have any impact on it. I really don't. As much as people might say it is, tomorrow's game's not going to have any impact on it. I think Drury and I think us Rangers fans are kind of looking ahead to the offseason. Like, tomorrow's game means absolutely nothing. If we win, great. We finish it off strong. If we lose, okay, we're going into the offseason. But there's just so many questions. Because you got to look at it this way. Number one question is, what do the New York Rangers do at head coach? We don't know. Okay, if they fire David Quinn, where do we go? Do we bring back John Tortorella? Do we take another veteran? Do we take an assistant? Where do we go? If we keep David Quinn, okay, fine, we keep him. Another question to be asked is, what are we going to do with this team? Is Drury going to go all out on a star player and give up a lot for him and try to turn this thing around quickly and play the short game instead of a long-term game? Or is he going to keep this core and build a little bit here and there? What are we going to do with the fourth line? This fourth line needs help now. The first, second, and third, they're all right. The fourth line needs help. Because the fourth line, we need someone that can be a hard-nosed, go out there, get in players' faces kind of guy. We need that. We don't have that right now. We don't. We're not even close to having that right now. What are we going to do with Pavel Buchnevich? He's going to be, I believe, a free agent this season. What are we going to do with all this cap space? Do we go out and spend it? Do we go out and kind of stay where we're at? Do we just go out and make a bunch of trades and just try to win a Stanley Cup now? There's so many questions to be asked about the New York Rangers, and we're going to find them out. We'll find out David Quinn by next week. I have an odd feeling if David Quinn's going to get fired, it's going to be tomorrow or sometime early next week. I don't think they're going to fire him randomly in the middle of the summer. I think if they're going to fire him, they're going to fire him after the season, and they're going to just start fresh. Now, and this is kind of why I really want to talk about this. What's going to happen with David Quinn, and what do I want to happen to David Quinn? And I would like to say this about David Quinn, right? This is a guy that, we haven't been terrible under him. We haven't. He came here. He had his hands full. There was a lot of young guys on his team. He came here from a transition from a team that was a playoff contender, and he came here and took in a team that, is a more of a rebuilding young team that's learning. That's what he did. And he's done a lot. He tried to do a lot. He's tried his best to get this team to be competitive. He has tried his hardest to try and get this team to a winning level. He has, and I can't take that away from him. Now, when David Quinn got hired as the head coach, I actually thought this move was going to be pretty successful because he came from Boston University, and he coached a lot of young college players there. Now, coming to the NHL, coaching young guys, he already knew what to do with them. He knew how to work with them. He knew what he needed to do. And, he came here, and I just don't know. I look at it this way. If we fire David Quinn, I'll be okay with it. I'll be like, all right, fresh start. If we don't fire him, it's not like I'm going to be so angry that way. I'm not going to be angry either way. If we decide to keep him, okay, we decide to keep him. If we fire him, okay, we fire him. I'll be fine with either. If I had to choose one, what is best for the organization? You just fired your GM and president. You're bringing in a new one. It might just be better to just start fresh. And I'm not saying that just because that's just from further experiences with other sports teams. It just might be better to start fresh. The Nets did that this year with Steve Nash. Instead of keeping Kenny Atkinson and, bringing in all these new players like KD and them, just blow it up. Just bring in a new coach and bring in a new coaching staff that fits KD and Kyrie. And that's the same thing here with the New York Rangers. Like, I get it, Drury's very close with David Quinn, but sometimes when you switch GMs and presidents, just switch it up. Let Drury bring in his guy, bring in his guy, bring in his coach. And I want a coach that's going to really battle. I want a coach that's going to really battle for his players. Like a coach that is very communicating, and a coach, too, that, is plays the young guys. Because at times I feel like David Quinn, sometimes, he doesn't play the young guys enough. He doesn't. And I feel like that's an issue. Because, these are guys that are trying to learn, they're trying to get better, and here you are not playing them that much. So I could see it going either way. What's best for the organization, and I'm not saying this is something that needs to happen, I could very well see them getting fired. Now, what's my prediction? What's going to happen to David Quinn? It's so tough to say because Drury and David Quinn are very close, but that doesn't matter really. We've seen that in sports. That doesn't always matter. I just don't know. I could see, the way he worded it, it's pretty convincing that he might go ahead. The way he worded it, it might be the way he worded it, it seemed like he might be fired. Now, does that mean he's going to be fired just because he said we'll make a decision? No, but I'm sure if he was 100% certain that David Quinn was going to be the head coach, he would have said, yes, he's going to be our head coach. Not, we'll make a decision regarding the coaching staff and the rest of the organization next week. And we'll find out. And maybe it goes like this. Maybe he pulls Quinn into a room and tells him his plan. And if Quinn likes it, if Quinn believes he can get the job done, they'll do it. If he pulls Quinn into a room and he tells him his plan and he just doesn't know, and he doesn't feel like Quinn's the best fit for his plan in place, then he's going to go ahead and get rid of Quinn and bring in a new guy. All I know is with the New York Rangers and what we got to do this season, we got to, get a guy that's going to be able to battle and fight. We need to get a real goon. We need to get a guy that's going to be able to come in here, battle, fight, stick up for his teammates. We have that in Ryan Lindgren. We don't have enough. These other teams you see in 3, 4, 5 players now. We do have like one of them. We also need a guy that's going to be on the fourth line that's going to be very aggressive. That's going to be checking players. It's going to be hitting players. It's going to be able to win in close games. Win battles. Win against the boards. Win in close areas. We need to improve that fourth line. That fourth line, if we want any way to make the playoffs, we need a better fourth line. And what do you do with Buchnevich? What do you do with some of these other guys? That's also an answer the Rangers will have to, and that's also a question the Rangers will have to ask this season. What are we going to do with what are we going to do with the young players? Are we going to go all out and Eichel, and that possibly means trade one of our young guys? And Drury might do that. Drury might say, you know what? I want to win now, team. These fans, we haven't really witnessed a true winning team, or a team that's really Stanley Cup. We haven't made the Stanley Cup until 2013, but the last time we won it was in the 90s. Right? So we better just get this thing back going. And maybe that's what we do. Maybe Drury goes all out, gets a bunch of these big-time players, almost does what the Brooklyn Nets, though. Maybe he does that. Maybe what the Brooklyn Nets did was they went out and got Kyrie. They went out and got KD. This year they went out and got Harden. Maybe that's what he does. He goes out for all these guys, goes out and get all the big-name talent, and go there. Maybe that's what they do. It's him. I don't know. I don't know what his plan is. I haven't talked to him. I want to see what it is, though. And I think it all starts depending on what they do with the coach. If they keep the coach, I think it's kind of a hint towards we like what we have in place and we're not going to change it. If they change the coach, I could see that being a complete culture change and that being a complete change of plans. Like a complete, you were headed in the direction of young players and now you're going to try and blow it up and just bring in a bunch of studs. Now, I like the young core we have. And I don't want to mess it up too much. If you want to go out and get Eichel or someone else, maybe. But we'll figure it all out. Alrighty, so let's get into a New York sports update here to finish off the podcast. As I always press that. So Miguel Andujar has been recalled from Scranton Wilkes-Barre. So Yeah, so the Yankees recall Miguel Andujar from Triple A, right? Yeah. So from Triple A. So the Yankees recall Andujar from Triple A. So let's see here. All right, so let's see. So the Yankees made these roster moves. So following yesterday's game, the Yankees optioned right-handed pitcher Albert Abreu to AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Prior to tonight's game, the Yankees recalled infielder-outfielder Miguel Andujar, number 41, from AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. So an opportunity here for him to get some playing time and him get some reps. Obviously, okay. Okay, so I'm just reading up on all the moves they made. So Andujar, with Urshela getting injured, Andujar will get the opportunity. We'll get the opportunity. Urshela got his knee, so he might play outfield. There's some rumors that he might play left field as well because we haven't got much left field production. Tom Wilson, this was another thing too, speaks on New York Rangers incidents. I would have never thought that all this would have blown up. It seemed like a fairly routine hockey scrum to me. That's not true. But, yeah. So, all right, so let's get into this. All right. So as for yesterday in the NBA, the Clippers won, Warriors won, Wizards won, Pacers won, Pistons won, and Bulls won. Nets also, Nets lost yesterday. 113-109. We moved to 43-24 on the season. Tough loss. We got to bounce back next game. Today's games, we got the 76ers Pelicans. I'll give 76ers the win. Celtics Bulls, give Celtics the win. Hornets Magic, give Hornets the win. Bucks Rockets, give Bucks the win. Heat Timberwolves, give Heat the win. Mavericks Cavs, give Mavericks the win. Jazz Nuggets, give Jazz the win. Suns Knicks, give Suns the win. Trailblazers Lakers, give Trailblazers the win. Spurs Kings, give Spurs the win. As for yesterday in the NHL, the Canucks won, Blackhawks won, Maple Leafs won, and Penguins won and Devils won. Rangers lost yesterday 4-0. We moved to 26-22 and 6 on 26-23 and 6 on the season. So, focus on the offseason, see how it all plays out there. As for the NHL today, we got the Capitals, Flyers. I'll give Capitals the win. Blue Jackets, Red Wings, give Blue Jackets the win. Lightning Stars, give Lightning the win. Wild Ducks, give Wild the win. Avalanche Kings, give Avalanche the win. And Golden Knights Blues, give Golden Knights the win. And Coyotes Sharks, give Coyotes the win. As for the MLB yesterday, the Rays won, Marlins won, Braves won, Blue Jays won, Red Sox won, Indians won, Mets won, Rangers won, and Phillies won. Yankees lost yesterday 7-4, moved to 16-15 on the season. Our bullpen blew it. Very rare blown game from the bullpen. Tyone's on the mound today for the Yankees. Yeah, so I guess that's right. So I guess it was Tyone, Cole, Tyone, and then Kluber. Okay. As for today, we got the Cubs, Pirates. I'll give Cubs the win. Red Sox, Orioles, give Red Sox the win. Marlins, Brewers, give Marlins the win. Indians, Reds, give Indians the win. Twins, Tigers, give Twins the win. Braves, Phillies, give Braves the win. Rangers, Mariners, give Rangers the win. Astros, Blue Jays, give Astros the win, or Cheaters the win. Actually, Blue Jays the win. Then Royals, White Sox, give White Sox the win. Cardinals, Rockies, give Cardinals the win. Cardinals to win, and Dodgers, Angels give Dodgers to win. Rays give A's to win, and Giants give Padres to win. Mets play today. Galleon's on the mound for the Cardinals, or the Diamondbacks rather. Peterson's on the mound for the Mets. I'll give the Mets the win. Why not? If they could hit. Lindor got a hit yesterday. Good for him. Finally gets a hit. As for today, we got in the Yankees. Yankees come in this game 16-15. Nationals come in this game 12-15. This game goes on today, 7 to 5 p.m. Eastern time on MLB Network. You can also find this game on Yes Network. Yankees are, let's see here, 1.5 point favorites, like always. Nationals got Patrick Corbin on the mound. Yankees got Jameson Taillon over under 8.5 for this game. If I'll give the Yankees the win. Why not? Just load them up with wins. Let's see it happen. As for fantasy baseball, I'm currently winning 203 to 120. Today I've got going Will Smith, Matt Olson, Marcus Semien, Josh Donaldson, Carlos Correa, Jed Lowry, Alex Bregman, Whit Merrifield, Austin Meadows, Jorge Soler, Manuel Margot, Michael Taylor, and Victor Robles. And then Jack Eflin on the mound. I made a roster move today. So the move is as followed. I added Ian Kennedy and dropped Taylor Rogers. I just felt like it was the best move. Rogers just hasn't been playing that well. So I added Ian Kennedy, who has been playing really good. And that's kind of the plan there. All right, as for fantasy basketball, I'm currently winning 958 to 603. Today I've got going Kemba Walker, Buddy Hield, Jimmy Butler, Anthony Davis, and Montrezl Harrell. Injury report is as follows. Jimmy Butler illness is questionable for Friday's game against the Timberwolves. Ira Winderman of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel reports. Anthony Davis is also day-to-day. Davis back expects to start Friday at Portland. Kyle Goon of the Orange County Register reports. And then as for Kyle Lowry, he's all day-to-day. Lowry is out for Thursday game against the Wizards due to the rest. Eric Corrin of the Athletic reports. So he's out there. We'll figure out the rest as follows. We'll figure out all the rest as his game comes up. As for fantasy hockey, I'm currently losing 264 to 210. But today I've got going Brandon Point, Anses Kopitar, Brandon Shen, Joe Pavelski, David Perron, Shea Theodore, Jacob Kitchen, Justin Falk, and Nicholas Backstrom. And I got Cam Talbot in goal. Injury update here is as followed. No new update on Weber. And Steven Stamkos, no new update on him. So there actually isn't much of an update there. Like I said, I don't really think I'm going to make many changes with the fantasy team. I do still hope that I can win, but I'm losing by a lot. Hopefully I get the win. But you gotta it's just there's not much available out there on waivers because at this point if there's going to be someone that's really good out there, they would have already got taken. So, I'm kind of set with my team, and obviously tomorrow, though, I'm going to make some changes after the Rangers game because their season's done after tomorrow, and some teams, they don't all end on the same day. So the Rangers season ends tomorrow. So what that means is I'm going to drop all the Rangers players because their season's going to be done. So that will be a little frustrating for me because Mika Zibanejad has been good and Shesterkin, but I'll have to find some other guys to take over there. So, but with all that being said, that'll do it for the podcast here today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. As you all know, I take weekends off, so I will see you all back here. On Monday. But before I really close it out, hopefully everybody has a good weekend. Enjoy it, and I will see you all back here on Monday. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.